the world out there. Good afternoon, Mrs. Jones. Good afternoon, Ryan. Hope you're all well. I feel like this is like the Eurovision Song Contest. Are you receiving me, England? Because I'm not in England. If I look a little pink, that's the closest I get to getting a tan because I'm on holiday in Tenerife at the moment. So, live from Tenerife. Which is easing some of the pain of a certain performance at the weekend. Let's put it that way. But at least I was in the warm and dry. That's all that can be said. So, for those of you who've not joined us before, you don't know what you've missed. Try and catch up. But my name is Liz Saunders, and my co-conspirator is Claire Jones. And we set this pod up because we were fed up with particularly Look East not mentioning the Saints till after the trampolining or the basketball or any other minority sport that was going on in Essex that they could think of. So we thought we'd give a shout out to our favourite team. So, and I say, I'm in Tenerife at the moment. Mrs. Jones, where are you? Oh, what's the weather like?
Actually, the weather's been very nice here today. Probably similar to where our guest is. So, yes, in the wilds of Cambridgeshire, it's been okay. And I'm glad it's not raining because the drainage around here is suffering. I've never seen the drains so full. For those of you who like drains, which a lot of people around here seem to, it's looking quite watery out there. So I'm quite glad it hasn't. But the sun is gently going down, and we have seen that orange globe in the sky.
Oh, it's good. It's very good here. Yeah.
So we want to welcome our guest, our special guest, man of the championship.
I mean, I'll take that, Claire. Thank you very much. Yes, regular listener, first time contributor. Looking forward to it.
Yes. And he has, he's here with two heads. That sounds wrong. But obviously, as Bedford. Well. as Bedford's chief head, what are you, communications director, or what's your actual title, Ryan?
I have always wanted to be called head of media and communications, but seeing as it's just me, media manager is what everyone calls me, and I'm fine with that.
Well, you're still head of it, aren't you? Even if it's only you. and of course, your other important role is as Sherpa to Mrs. Jones, isn't it? Yeah, carrying the camera equipment and.
Oh, don't no. Let's go. No, let's not go there. We need to explore that.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
We'll save that for later.
That for later.
So we will now launch into question time, Mr. Robinson. I'm trying to channel my inner Jeremy Paxman there. Sorry?
My specialist subject will be Championship Rugby, thank you.
Well, I'm not asking you that. Right. First of all, can you just tell us, you've just said you're from Wales, can you tell us your journey from St Julian's in Newport to Bedford? Please.
St Julian, yes, St Julian. I'd love to say I'm St Julian's second greatest export, because when I was at school, they always used to tell us about Adrian Masters, who features a lot on the BBC, probably BBC Wales, to be fair. You might not have heard of him, but he does a lot of behind the wall documentaries and things. He's like our greatest export in terms of stuff like that. We have a gym named after Gareth Bale that he never went to school once, and he didn't even open it himself, but we won't open there. So hopefully I'm the greatest export.
Getting better.
I think featuring on this podcast will, solidify myself in that second spot. I would hope this will be the talk of the town going home, because once my mother sees it, it'll be on Twitter immediately. So I haven't actually told her that I'm on it. It's her birthday today, so shout out to my mother when she listens.
Oh, happy birthday, Mum!
Oh, top work. Yes.
But yeah, so I've spent the first minute and a half not actually answering the question.
Yes.
Fairly standard.
Yes. So so from school, my journey was, obviously enjoyed playing sport. Was never really good enough to do that as a career. So most sports or failed sports people will go into sport some other way. For me, that was writing. I used to like doing a lot of commentary when I was younger, and stuff like that. So I had a part-time role at the Dragons, or as they were formerly called at the time, Newport Gwent Dragons. That was my first inkling to Northampton. We played and got smashed both games in a European pool stage, and subsequent seasons we also got destroyed as well. Don't think we ever got anywhere near you. And then even when I moved to Bedford, we played you a couple of years ago, we were winning for a lot of it, and I thought we might get this one. And then we came back, and I think it was a Tom Collins masterclass at the end to see us off at Rodney Prey. So I was working there, studied at Gloucester, which is not too far, so commuted every day back and forth, so got to know obviously Gloucester and Worcester quite well. Was still at the Dragons, travelling back for press conferences, all that kind of stuff. Then worked in football as well with a football club that are based at the stadium with the Dragons as well. So worked in League Two, did something like 200 games there, and then from uni joined Bedford, and a great opportunity to come here. And then 6 weeks later, COVID happened. So I walked into the office and said, "Yeah, Gareth, thanks for having me. I'm guessing I'm off then. I'm going back home, am I?" No, don't worry. You're going to be the only one that's working during COVID alongside me. All right, fair enough. Right, okay, no worries. I was like, brilliant, great, let's do it. And then obviously since then, Championship Rugby's come back. We then built the relationship with Northampton. So that's obviously extended our pool a bit further, and we've gone from like full-time to part-time, professional. Boys have got jobs and stuff like that, so it's more difficult than when I started, because the access to players is a lot different. We probably only see them 3 times a week for two hours and stuff, but loving it. And Bedford is a wonderful place to be, a real rugby town. I think it's the second most populated town in England that rugby is better than football in terms of crowd support. I think Wakefield is number 1, I think. So it's a great rugby hub in the community. Never a dull moment here at Goldington Road, and loving every minute of it, I have to say.
Excellent. So did you, just as an aside, so when you were doing the Dragon stuff, did you come across the sports writer from the Argus, Robin
Davey?
Davey, yes.
Yes, a legend of a bloke in the South Wales area. Yeah.
Yes, I worked for the Argus for a while, so I knew Robin Davey vaguely well. So nice.
It's a small world.
It's
a small world.
Wales is even smaller.
Well, yes. Newport is like it's not 6 degrees of separation in Newport. It's about 3, I think.
I'm proud to be from there, but I'm glad to be away from there. That's all I'm willing to say.
Okay, let's move on. Next question, Mrs. J.
Next question, my turn. So after those first few weeks, Ryan met me.
I did.
And he nearly binned me.
No, it wouldn't. It's not story. That's not quite the story. No. So what? Right. Okay. We are stirring the pot here. We try to be very, very, very studious at Bedford. I'll try and give some background to it as well. Look, you know, the championship, actually, in the current guise, the championship is very more professional off the field. But at the time, it was very, like, names just sprung from everywhere. They were having media people. Then there were coaches sat in the press box. It's very confusing. So working with our rugby administrator, we put in a principle that said, right, we're not faffing around on match day and creating media passes from nowhere that we can't get access to. So this is like the slight background to it. So we said Thursday at 12 p.m. for a Saturday game is the cut-off point for media. Thursday at 12 p.m. If you don't get it in there, it was very highly flagged on our website. I know Claire's laughing. She knows I get rattled about this. But it was Thursday at 12 p.m. for a Saturday game. It was on our website, very clear instructions. So I get an email from Jack at Northampton on Thursday evening, Friday morning, saying basically we've got a photographer. We know there's a lot of Northampton players playing in your game against Amp till tomorrow. She would like to come down and take photos. So me and my little high horse were saying, well, no, you didn't meet our media criteria. You didn't meet our media criteria. So in fairness, I will admit I was all for not allowing Claire into the ground that day, and I have openly said that because we didn't meet the criteria. And I was going to write a lovely worded email, but we will welcome you to do the next game. Just please suit our media criteria. Anyway, I went to speak to my boss because I thought, well, Northampton could be quite helpful, couldn't they? And I said to him, I was like, do we like pee off Northampton early by saying no, or this like relationship was only launched on Tuesday, like you want to get this to fly like against my protocol? And my boss said, do you know what, it could work out for us in the way that you want to do media and you want to do live photos and half-time photos and full-time photos. This could be a great avenue to get that. So he said, just go back, be polite, but be stern in the fact that for the future game, you want this Thursday,
Bad photographer.
this Thursday at 12 p.m. And yeah, I mean, as they say in fairness, the rest is history. And I mean, you'll definitely get 50 Bedford games by the end of the season, which is unbelievable and a massive help to me. I'll be honest, I was scrambling around I was trying every avenue to get a photographer at Hartbury on Saturday. So I mean, the challenges of not having you around is always very, very difficult. So when I know, and you send me as comprehensive a calendar as you do, that I know when Northampton are playing and Loughborough Lightning are playing without even thinking about Googling it, because I've got it all written in my calendar of what games and where we're going, then it's very helpful. But yeah, it was
Shall I tell the other half of the story? So the other half of the story is he's sat in his little box, and of course we're in COVID land, so we're all about 14 miles apart, And I talked to the then Tog, a chap called Nigel. I only met him once. That was a lovely man, very, very nice man. And I asked him, of course, the rules were a bit odd because we all had to stand so far apart and we had to be the other side of the advertising, which in a normal Goldington Road game, it's like Welford Road. You're on the inside of the advertising. It's quite different. Anyway, so I wander past Ryan, who's still pretending to be on his high horse and failing miserably. And I uttered the throwaway line, do you want some photos through the first half? And he looks at me. He looks at me as if I'd said, would you like all your Christmases at once? Or shall I ration them? So I started sending photographs, and as they say, the rest is it. Because you hadn't been used to that. You've been used to receiving
the Dragons, in fairness.
No, but at Bedford, you've been used to getting things later on. It was a different pace. Whereas I was still working as if I was working with, Jack Miller and Liz Tyler and Tom Quar at the Saints, who want stuff throughout the game. And, and so when I started to just work the way I always do, it kind of blindsided you a bit. And also the style of photography that I do is different to what Bedford was used to, which is good because it meant you got a bit of a change from what you normally have.
Look at our programmes now. Unbelievable cutouts.
Yes. I have to get the whole of, just for Liz's benefit, I have to get the whole of a player running with the ball so that they can do those sort of fancy cutouts on the program, and they look great. A gentleman called Dave, is that right? Dave Green does this fantastic graphics based off my photos, and and they have a little grid. They have a little Google sheet to see how Claire's doing versus getting all the players. So every year I have to get, because they all change the kit and they want a home kit and an away kit and a
Ladies' Day kit,
Ladies' Day pink kit, and so so that is that little bit of history. But I just always find it amusing, reminding myself that I could have been binned.
Could have been very early on.
Temporarily. Only for a week.
See, so easily to wind up. Anyway, so you are a man of the championship. So what is it about the championship that you love?
What, currently?
Yeah.
Burgers at Hartbury are lovely.
Why is it always about food?
Always about
cow pie at Doncaster.
Yeah. No, absolutely right.
Massive shout out to cow pie at Doncaster. I think, actually, in the current guys, we're all fighting the same battle together, which is nice. It's probably the first time ever, and certainly the first time in my time in the championship, that we're all singing off the same hymn sheet. Whether we're going to get what we want and all those kind of things, I'm probably not the right person at Bedford to be talking about it because the meetings are going so differently. But what I love about the championship's just so different, isn't it? It's just community clubs playing against each other where probably one or two clubs have aspirations for promotion. We're quite happy. We just want to be playing at the highest level that we can be. That allows Bedford Blues to be a sustainable club and be here for my grandkids, for Mike's grandkids to watch. That's as simple as that. We lost Jersey. That was horrendous. And we're still feeling the consequences of it. We just want Bedford Blues to be here in 50 years. We are. While we work for Bedford Blues, we are custodians of the club, and it's our job to make sure that when somebody else comes in, there's still a club for them to watch and still be there. And it's brilliant at Bedford because we get the highest crowds and we get the best away support and all those kind of things. But there's something about going to Ampthill and walking through the woods, isn't there? Like, there's just something about it. There's something about going to Caldy and having to watch from behind people's heads because the media zone is a bench where people stand in front of it. And there's something weird about it. Like, I went with the Dragons, I went to places like Claremont and Montpellier, and you get treated like royalty. And when I was at Newport, we had press days at Tottenham and Man City, and you get 5-course meals before the game. There's something really weird about walking through woods at Ampthill.
Yes, so for those of you who don't know, Oney Field, is it now called, is one of the weirdest places. And if you haven't been there, I remember you very kindly, he warmed to me in the end, you very kindly met me the first time I went there, because if I'd gone on my own, I'd have ended up God knows where. Because you basically walk past the clubhouse and then you've got 3 paths, one of which leads to where the pitch is. And you can't see the pitch because, as you say, you go through a woods.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to go to Ampthill, Liz. You will not believe it. It is bonkers.
And like because the clubhouse is so far away from the pitch, the team stays out there at half time. We don't even go back.
Yeah, they don't go back to the clubhouse.
Oh, how quaint and old fashioned.
Oh yes, they just swap ends. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's just there's just something pure about the championship, and
I do worry about that. They do worry about that tower at Ampthill because I'm sure there's a cliff, isn't there, behind it? So if anyone leans back too far, they're going to be at the bottom of the hill.
Oh, no, I think it's when you go somewhere and the press bench is literally a bench that you know you're at grassroots rugby.
Bench, and they get people to stand in front of you. So either you have to stand up as well, which kind of defeats the object of the bench, or you go and sit on the grass further down the bank where there's no fans.
Yeah,
there's just something weirdly that you look forward to when you go there.
Yeah. No, championship grounds are brilliant, and we are, as you know, because you are a regular listener, as you said, we are fans of Goldington Road. That slope, magnificent, and as you say, it is a community club, and it has some fine old history. We talk about the barn. Oh, there you go. There's my turn.
Your turn.
Yeah, we talk about the barn. The aptly named barn to save money. But of course, Bedford has its own barn because it had the original one. The Scrum Bar was originally built so the lads could train indoors.
Yeah, and please don't test me when it was built because I know you told me.
But there is a family. So, I think it might be late 1900s, 1800s even, 1890 something or other. But there is a connection with today's squad because it's Jamie Elliott's great uncle who built it.
Whoa. Do. Yeah.
Of stellar saints esteem as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we all look fondly back at the Beaver Stadium try. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised you're a fan of the championship. Yes.
So leading on from that, what is your favourite rugby ground in the whole world?
Goldington Road.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Brand loyalty.
That's very not Golding. Other than Goldington Road.
Goldington Road.
In the whole world.
Depends if you win or lose there. Because I will always say the Principality when Wales beat England is some of the greatest atmospheres you'll ever experience in rugby.
Only if you're Welsh.
Probably the year. Well, yes, only if you will. When you lose to England at the Principality, it is like a pin drops, and it takes you 2 hours to get a train home, which you don't mind if you've won. But when
Yeah.
you've got to queue up for a train and there's English singing behind you, like, yeah, great,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks very
So
much. And the roof being closed makes a massive difference. If they close the roof, it's like a cauldron in there. And that year, the 36 victory when you were going for a Grand Slam and we ended up winning the Six Nations by thumping England was one of the best atmospheres that you will ever experience in rugby, probably, because, yeah, my team, the Dragons, will never get into a European final. Let's be fair.
Well, yes, that's
Yeah,
true. That's true.
We don't
Very
talk about
true.
the Principality Stadium and European
And
finals.
European
do we?
finals. No, we don't. No.
No,
We won the first half.
it's part of the history.
It is. Yes.
So, right. So we've got the world. We've got the championship. What's your favourite Premiership ground?
I haven't actually been to that many. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you want me to say something other than the Gardens.
No, you can say the
No, you
Garden.
can
No,
say
no,
the
no,
Gardens.
no. You can say the
You know
Garden.
what? I really liked Brentford, London Irish,
Yes.
when we
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that was a really nice ground. I just liked the feel of it, and it
Yeah.
probably helped that it was Paddy's weekend as well, so it was packed.
Yes.
It was always
Yeah.
Paddy's weekend when we played him.
Game was
Yeah,
like-
that was strange. That.
was Saints something like 20 points down, come back and won it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
we-
Yeah.
That was a real good game, particularly as like I love a comeback. Comebacks are the best thing in sport. Like, and Bedford have been going through enough of them this season. We almost pulled one off on Saturday as well. But like when you sat there, particularly as like a neutral but with Saints bias, and you're surrounded by Saints fans who are pretty miserable, and then you see how happy they get, and you're happy for them.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. And I always remember that trip because I was meeting my parents after the game, and I texted them to go to Brentford, and they texted me and said, well, we're outside the ground. I was like, well, I can't see you. And they were at a ground that was 9.5 miles away. And in London, that takes them about 2 hours to get across. And we were driving to Weston that night because I was running a race in Weston the next day. So that weekend was like it was just a very good weekend. So I remember the stadium as part of a weekend trip as well.
So where were they then? Were they in Brentwood then?
I can't remember. They were at a football stadium
Yeah, they were somewhere else because we drove you
down, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, to get closer.
Yeah.
We was just trying to meet,
About a mile away. It was
Yes.
the weirdest media car park that was in a primary school about a mile away.
Oh, the media car
Yes.
park that was about 20. They wrote it's 15 minutes from the ground. It's like, what? If you're a sprinter.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was bizarre.
Yeah, no, not good. Not good. So for photography, it was a great ground to work out once you were there, but getting there was a pain in the arse. Yes. Cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
Brentford.
So, okay, I have to ask this question.
Oh,
What
God.
do you like about being a Sherpa? We ask the difficult questions on the Ladies Wot Pod.
Good question. And as I've said to you, obviously everyone knows that I'm a massive runner, and I've been predicting what questions. I've been texting Claire and going, "Oh, I've been out running. I've been predicting what kind of questions you're going to ask me and what I'm going to say. I've been thinking about, right, make sure to get in there. Strategic partnership. Aren't we wonderful for the pathway of Lichfield? Aren't we wonderful for the pathway of George Hendy? Now you've come up with a Sherpa question, and I'm like,
And
oh, look, at the moment, being a Sherpa, being so involved at Northampton means I get to watch some unbelievable rugby, and like, because I always say this, and it's very hard to switch off. When you work in media, you struggle to watch other rugby because instantly I'm watching Northampton this season and I'm thinking, right, who would I put up for media? What would I say? What would I write in the match report? What would I do for this? What would I do for that? And it is hard to switch off, but I do genuinely watch the game and try and actually watch the game because it is quite funny the amount of times, like at Bedford games, somebody asks me what happened or what that penalty was for. I was like, I have not got a clue. I wasn't watching at the time. I was tweeting. Like, I genuinely watch the game back on a Sunday just so I know what actually happened. And then I probably shouldn't reveal this just in case anyone watches it, because it's sponsored. The man of the match is always sponsored. But there's a minimal committee that meet after the game to decide who the man of the match is, of which I sometimes get a say. And normally my boss Gareth will go to me, Ryan, so who did you think had a good game? And I'll say, well, I tweeted about this player a lot. I said, no, he didn't have a good game. And then he'll say something, and I'm like, well, I didn't mention him. What have I missed? And then I watch the game back, and I'm like, oh yeah, he did have a pretty good game actually. It just opens up so many avenues, doesn't it, to watch some unbelievable rugby this season. And like for me, I'm an outsider, but I feel like an insider as well, because I know so many of the players because they've been here at Goldington Road. The coaches come down and stuff. Like, it's amazing how many people actually talk to me at games. Like, I find that really weird. That I'm Bedford's media man. I mean, I make it known I'm very much Bedford because, branded colours every time I go to the gardens, obviously. But the amount of like players that would just come past and say hi or after the game, come and speak to me, because I'm normally stood there waiting for Claire to give me a camera so that she can rush to the changing rooms and get the shoe arm.
Yeah, rush to the changing rooms. Yeah.
And
well, have you not seen next season's advertising?
Yes.
As Claire will tell you, harshly, she let me sing it all season in the car coming back.
He got it wrong.
And she never once told me the actual words. And I thought I was singing it correctly all season.
No.
Oh. I wasn't.
I know, that was harsh. It was very harsh. I'm very cruel. Yes. So
texting her. I was in Amsterdam, I think, for a weekend running a marathon. Saints had won. I texted her some words to it. And they were the wrong words, just as like a well done Saints.
I hadn't the heart. You were so up.
She didn't even tell me. I'm 20 miles in to a marathon. I get a text message in my ear from Tom Litchfield's mum to say, keep on going, Saints have won. So I've gone in quickly, text her, fields of green, whatever. Bang, wrong wording. I felt like such an idiot when I actually realised what the words were. So I genuinely thought I was singing it right the whole time.
I dread to think what he was singing then.
Oh, well,
It was the wrong river. There was some...
Oh, yes, the river's wrong.
My version. Yeah.
What? Okay. Moving swiftly on.
It shows how much I love Saints that I join in with the song in the car.
That is
He does join
yeah.
in with the song. Yes, he does join in with the song. Yes. And the joy of Sherping is that it is really helpful that Tim and Ryan allow, because having so much kit, everyone's seen how much gear I have, and I really do not want to be taking that into the changing room because it would just complete faff.
And also, just for the listeners, can I just say we keep it between ourselves, but there's a Sherpa race to get round to Claire first, and I have won every race this season. I use different.
I should hope so, if you don't mind me saying.
Women and small children.
But like, so Sherpa 1 goes like out of the ground and comes back in from a different way, and I'm like, I work out where the crowd is. I go up and come down, and I like shoot past and players there talking to kids. I'm like, get out the way. I need to get right. But I just want it on record. I've won every Sherpa race this season.
You have won every Sherpa race.
I thought all those small children were just crying because they haven't got a ball, not because they've been knocked into the stands by you.
No young Saints fans were harmed in the making of the Sherpa race.
Excellent.
Yeah, right.
Excellent.
I suspect. Sorry, go on.
No, you go. You keep going, Mrs. Saunders. Don't let me get in the way.
I was going to say, I think you've answered this question, but you can think of something else. What was your favourite sporting memory or experience?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you two. Playing wise, winning the Welsh Schools Cup in football in Year 9 and Year 11 at the Principality was quite a special moment. That was cool. I wish we'd have won it all 3 years, but we won't talk about that. That was my last game that I played because I realised I take sport too seriously. When I was shown a red card and fined £50 on my school. But anyway, And do you know what? From a watching perspective, from a watching perspective, so some slight background. Obviously, I'm from Newport, support Newport in football. So I was at Wembley when they got promoted. That was a great feeling. Got promoted to the Football League. That was a great feeling. My dad is a staunch Manchester United supporter, so I've gone to loads of games with him. And I talk about the atmosphere at the Principality. One of my early sporting memories, I went to a Manchester derby with him at Old Trafford, probably just at the time that Man City were bought out by the Qataris or Saudis, wherever they're from. So they were just starting to spend money. So this is probably 2007, 2008. And it was like the one derby where probably the first derby that City went into as favourites. Now, I remember it specifically because my dad, if they lose, is not a nice man to be around with, coming home with silence for 4 hours, no radio, no nothing, because all they wanted to do was deny it. So it's sit in silence. It's like, a funeral's going on. And it was the derby, and I remember it because he wanted to leave the ground early, and he never does that. He was nervous. United were winning 3-2. He was nervous. He said, shall we leave? And I said to Dad, I just get the feeling there's going to be some late drama here. It's going to be some late drama. We should stay around. And Man City scored to make it 3-3 in the 94th minute. And he turned to me and he was like, late drama. You said it was late drama. I was like, oh, God. I was like, oh, no, this is going to be a nightmare. He's going to hate me forever. And then United went and scored in the 98th minute. Ryan Giggs passed to Michael Owen and smashed it in the far corner. Michael Owen, a big Liverpool player as well, probably fans didn't really like him at the time, is now like a hero and they sing songs about it. But the stadium, I've never heard, I felt like the roof was going to come off. It was unbelievable. So that is one of the memories, and it got me out of jail because I was like, he is going to kill me. Like, it's some late drama, and they've scored in the 94th minute, and I was just like flat.
4 minutes later, Fergie time.
Yeah, and it was Mark Hughes as well, Man City manager. So it was like there was like loads of plot twists to it. But yeah, that for an atmosphere, and the journey home was amazing. So I remember that. That's one game that sticks out in my head. But yeah, Newport have played like loads of games and got promoted. I think they've been promoted six times since I've been supporting them. So I've watched their rise from Hellenic League to all this kind of stuff. Because the story is, my dad told me when I was younger, you can't support the same team as me and you can't support their rivals either. So I said, well, it doesn't really give me much options, does it, Dad, really?
How does that work?
So I said, well, I'll support whoever the local team is. So he went and got me the Argus, as we've spoken about the Argus before, and it said something like, I've got it here in my flat somewhere, but it says something like, Exiles humbled at home, Newport C 0, Dorchester T 4, go to page 48 for the match report, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll support them.
Brilliant. Well done, sir.
How it
the
happened.
rest is history,
Yeah.
as they say. Aww.
Excellent.
So, we have to ask this, and you don't have to give the Gareth Aldred answer.
All red, but yeah.
We love you, Gareth, really. What do you love about Bedford Blues?
Don't give the Gareth answer. That doesn't give him many places to go. Oh no! Look, Bedford is like, it's difficult because we're not like one of the big boys. We're not one of the big things. But what I love most about Bedford is that we are spoken about so highly by so many people, and genuinely in the Championship, I feel there is a case of players coming down and players in the Championship all want to play for Bedford. And that is majoritively because we get a massive crowd support, and away teams love coming to Goldington Road because of that. But, like, I wouldn't say I was ever in doubt about joining Bedford, but I remember when I was considering coming to Bedford, I'd had the job offer, whatever, and there was a few other things going on. And I went into the Dragons change room, and I thought, nobody's going to know what I mean when I go in and talk about Bedford. And I said to the boys, I was like, look, what do you think about this, going to Bedford and being their media manager? And they said, it'll be the best thing you ever do in your career. And I was like, how do you know Bedford? And they were like, yeah, but everyone talks about Bedford in rugby. I was like, do they? I was like, really? And they said, yeah, great club. They said, the only problem is, right, culture-wise, you're going to have to start drinking. Like, if you go to Bedford, you're going to have to start. And they were like, they said, Brian, Ryan, we here in the squad, we love you and we let you get away with things with drinking. But you go into Bedford Blues, you're going to have to drink. I was like, okay, fine, right, write that down. And then we had Hugh Taylor was playing for us at the time. His brother Ed was here, so that helped. We had Lewis Roblin, who actually did a lot of his media training when I was coming through the Dragon. So I remember sitting there and going, this is how you answer a question. When they ask it, this is what you say. And basically, I will talk to you before the interview and I'll tell you what the bullet points are and you've got to say it when you do the interview. Then he was at Bedford, so I texted him and was like, oh, what do you think about coming to Bedford? He's like, do it. We'll sort it out. Come to Bedford. So you're at a pretty special club when a lot of people talk about Bedford. And then you come to Bedford and you meet so many people that are engrossed in this rugby club, and it's weird, it's not a minor celebrity thing, but you go into pubs and people know you because you work for Bedford Blues. That's how important Bedford Blues is to the community, and it probably helps that I put myself in videos and my voice is the only voice you'll hear on Twitter asking all the questions and all that kind of stuff. But genuinely, when you work for a club that means so much to the community, it's a great feeling because you feel a great power and responsibility that you've got to provide them with all the information that they want, and you've got to keep them abreast of all the news. And there is a lot of responsibility on my shoulders, but I'd like to think I do a decent enough job that I'm still here 4.5 years later. So that's what I love the most. The family feel like on a match day, Claire will attest, I never have a moment's breath because I'm either running around doing media stuff, talking to supporters because they want to do something, doing a live Twitter, match report, match card, doing something. I'm in at 9 a.m, leave at 10 p.m. And generally it doesn't feel like work when you come to Bedford. It's like a Hartbury on Saturday. I was talking to some supporters in the bar and I was like, oh, I've got to go and do work now. You're like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that. I remember my first trip to Cornish Pirates. I woke up in the morning and went down for breakfast and I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm missing something here. Oh yeah, Twitter, I've got to put out its match day. Oh yeah, of course. So engrossed with the people around there, and I was with the fans in the same hotel at the time. I was just talking to them and I was like, oh God, I've actually got to do some work now. I better make my way to the ground and beat the players there. But you get so engrossed in it. I think when you to put in as much work as we all do in here at Bedford, there's got to be something that keeps you here. There's got to be something that makes you love it. And yeah, being the cornerstone of the community is what makes Bedford Blues Bedford.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a community club. Absolutely, it's a community club, and they're a lovely bunch. Liz, you might have noticed everybody has been, and we've even had IT support pop in. Liz is on a fresh set of ears.
Supposed to be bloody brilliant. They're not. I'm going to send them back.
The ongoing saga of Liz and her ears. Right, shall I? Are you ready for the next question, or shall I?
I know I'm back in now.
You're back in now. I wouldn't like to, You're on the home straight, Sherpa.
I'm looking forward to listening to this back because I missed most of that last answer. So.
It was quite poignant.
It was riveting chap, I'm sure.
So, as watching Saints, as you have been doing, which match have you most enjoyed this season?
Well, there's two answers because I would say Toulon for what happened, but
oh yeah,
I don't want to bring it back to Bedford, but I've always got a Bedford hat on when I'm there. But at Toulon, for Tom Lockett to score the winner when he gets so much for Bedford, that was a great story, and it was also the story of it because the week before he was meant to play for us at Colby. He gets called off because they had a frozen pitch, and we won't go into the fun and games around that. But do I think the pitch was frozen? No, I do not. But
bit of controversy there.
But to go from that to playing in a European Champions, not even a Challenge Cup game, it's a Champions Cup game
against Toulon,
with all their history, the Armitage brothers, Wilkinson winning everything that moved in the early the late noughties.
Yeah.
to go from that to then scoring the winning try, and then I think even the week later was back playing at Bedford with a man of the match performance because he spoke about it in his interview. It's just what a story. Like, I'm sure we will talk about the partnership and how it works to end with, I'm guessing, but like that from a Bedford hat on was like, I loved it. And then one of the early games, it's going to test me now what game it was, maybe even Quins, but basically the game before George Hendy gets injured, and he had a stormer and was brilliant. And like I was watching that, and it's like a weird proud brother moment. It's like I was watching it, and I was like, oh, he's done so well. Like the fans like adore him here at Bedford for what he did. Everyone was always happy when he played. You know, there's a similar feeling around Mr. Pollock at the moment.
Yeah.
And George was the player that got people off their seats here at Goldington Road. And when he played in games, like it was like something's going to happen. He might not score the try himself, but I remember the Cornish Pirates game. He gets more mentions in it. I mention him in 2 tries specifically, and don't even mention the try scorer. He does everything but passes the ball, and I basically wax lyrical about him, and then I run out of characters between who actually scored. But they do obviously have the gift of who scored. So it was like I was weirdly watching that game like a really proud brother. I was like, oh my god, he's doing it on the top stage in a Premiership game, in a big battle. I think it was Quins on a Friday night, massive crowd.
Yeah, it was Quins.
Yes,
and he's
Quins.
gone and done that, and like that's unreal. And I love it because it's like, yeah, I mean, he played for us at Cornish Pirates away. And he was like the Jack in the Box, and he was the only other person that was actually not asleep on the bus. So I was talking to George for like 3-4 hours, and he was talking to me about his career in his early days when he had to play for whoever he was playing for in Nat 2, but was playing away at Tynedale and places like this. And he was like the pathway is the first part. Right, I was playing in Tynedale. Now I'm playing for Pirates, playing at Pirates for Bedford, and hopefully next season I'll be with Saints and playing these games. And it was like that game, I was like, his whole journey is now complete. And it was like, yeah, it was a bit like I got to know George probably the most out of any Saints player we've had because of that bus trip, and we were just talking absolute nonsense for hours.
That's why you fit in this pod, then.
Yes.
But yeah, great fun. And so those are the 2 games that stick out and it gave me free content because I could just share everything and be like, Bedford, tick.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic.
So, the strategic partnership does play a big role in what you do. And so for the last question, I think you might have noticed that this particular item plays a big part in Saint's success.
Yeah, I would like to think so.
Hold on, I haven't asked the question yet. Because as we learned, I mean, I'm not going to spoil Liz's story, even the director of rugby. Right, what's your favourite cake?
Well, that's it.
Cake plays a big part. What is your favourite cake?
Do you know what? Can I give 2 answers again? This is going to be really, really, really boring.
Go for it.
It's going to be really, really boring. After a run, when you can eat as many calories as you want,
I'm sorry. Can I just stop you there? I don't even understand that concept. After a run.
So you've got to stay in shape in marathon season. But after a marathon, you can eat whatever you want, and I'm sure a lot of Saints viewers and players I've certainly seen in there. There's a local delicatessen in Bedford called Chibo, which has a very strong connection to Northampton. Courtney Lawson is in there a lot. Dylan Hartley is as well. A couple of these boys, they go there quite a lot. I think one of the chefs had something to do with being part of the Saints.
Yes.
But they do a white chocolate cheesecake. And I found out how many calories was in it, and I was like, well, that's my treat after a marathon.
That's a treat after the marathon.
And it is unbelievable, and I would never dare eat it when I'm not running a marathon. But you can't go wrong with a cup of tea and a Victoria sponge on a normal day.
Oh, Victoria sponge.
Victoria sponge.
First votes. Yeah, very good. Very good.
Yeah, with my grandsons there. That's jammy cake. Jammy cake's their favourite. Yeah.
Yeah, very top answer there. Yes, but as you've learned probably that with Liz and I, that cake is starting to play. Well, no, it's not starting. I mean, we have a hooker who's powered by pikelets.
Yes, yeah. Cake
Mm-hmm.
is becoming more and more important. It appears. That
Yes.
cake
Well, I mean, I
is-
think you need to. And I think you need to share the story with Ryan. Liz,
Well,
what happened last Thursday?
yeah.
Just
So
to show how important this pays. You know.
yeah, so we're at Saints Open Day and sort of doing stuff with the supporters club volunteers, but took 2 minutes out to go with the grandsons up to the gym, and we were met by Douse, director of rugby. He said, "Oh, hello, how are you?" And I said, "These are my grandsons," and so he said, "Oh, that's lovely. What's Granny really good at?" So Harry said, "Oh, she's really good at giving cuddles." Yes. Does she make cake? What?
There you go.
What? What do you mean? Does she make? Is she good cake? It's a good cake. My favourite's chocolate. Oh,
See?
okay.
Strategic partnership.
Yeah.
Strategic partnership. We will make a joint branded Bedford Northampton cake to celebrate the title success.
Ooh, you heard it here first. We haven't uttered those words yet, but very good.
No.
Yes.
Well, I
Okay.
didn't have to say what team was lifting the title there, so we'll leave that.
Yeah, no. You could be both.
We're giving ourselves as many options just to make sure it happens.
Yes.
Yes. Indeed. So yes, so cake, Victoria Sponge.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, it's been lovely having you on Sherpa 2, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you for having me.
Bedford Communications is in safe hands.
Yes.
And as you everybody heard, I am going to the game, the wonderful game. Bristol Bears are coming up with the wonderful Rich Lane coming back to Goldington Road on Friday, so I'm really looking forward to it. That was the game that replaced the sad demise of Jersey Reds. So well done to Bristol Bears for helping.
And with no Northampton Saints fixture on, and lots of Northampton Saints players likely to be involved, because we've specifically asked for more this week, because I think we're going with a bigger extended squad. This is my cheeky plug to say, go to www.bedfordrugby.co.uk/tickets, £4 discount, join us at Goldington Road for our final Friday Night Lights game of the season.
And
Brilliant.
you'll have an absolute blast, everybody.
Yeah, you will. Absolutely
Liz and I are huge fans of games at Goldington Road. Friday Night
And
Lights
the food there is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, food's very
a little
good.
foodie place. Yes.
Little foodie place, yes.
Taylor's Kitchen.
So, absolutely. And you'll find me pitch side, fingers frazzled, because I've got to keep the media manager up.
Great bloke, I did.
Great bloke. Quite hard work, but great bloke. No, but everybody, do get down to Goldington Road if you want to fix a rugby this weekend.
Yeah.
It's a quiet week. And the best thing is you can go to Goldington Road on Friday, have Saturday to do your jobs, and then you've got Loughborough Lightning on Sunday.
There you go.
It gets even better. Anyway, Mr. Robinson, we'll let you escape back into the world of the Championship. Thank you ever so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you, Ryan. And we'll see you
You are
soon.
an absolute superstar, and we'll see you at the Gardens soon. Because I imagine will you be popping into the Gardens at some point? Will you be joining us?
I think Saracens is the next game.
Oh, Saracens. Okay. Ooh. Okay.
Because I realise actually that I think Bath is your next home game that doesn't clash with Bedford game. But we've got a Pat Tapley testimonial evening, so I think I'm here at Goldington. So I think Saracens is the next game.
We've done Bath at home.
We've done Bath at home.
Friendly?
No, Sale Sharks. Sale Sharks, the friendly.
Yes.
Oh.
Sorry, Sale.
You're Mr. Friendly because you're looking after Mr. Tapley. Well, that's very good. That's very good.
But Saracens,
big
game.
Big game.
Anyway, we'll let
Always.
you escape. We'll let you escape. So thank you for coming on the pod.
Thank you for having me.
See you, Ryan. Back in the room, having got rid of Mr. Robinson. What a lovely young man he is, though. Really, really entertaining. I say I will look forward to hearing some of that back because my ears went wrong part way through, so that'll be fun. But it was it's highly entertaining. So now, Mrs. Jones, on to the stuff we like to talk about or don't in one particular case. Let's start with the Calcutta Cup. First of all, big shout out and congratulations to Elliot Miller-Mills. who, came on, did his stuff, and you were, well, I know you have a very soft spot for Elliot, and you were incensed earlier, weren't you?
I was, and we're not going to go straight to media corner, but I'm just going to say, Rugby Union Daily pundits in your preview. Elliot did our front row, and by ours I mean England's front row, like a kipper. He did his thing that surprised everybody at the Gardens against Cambridge earlier in the season, where he sees the ball at a ruck and goes, "Oh, all right, then I'll have that," and then off he trotted and won a penalty. Yeah, it's so unexpected, but it's brilliant, and he's very Elliot Miller Mills, and so well done. To make your debut at 31, and he's got a Calcutta Cup to his name now, so well done. And I understand lots of his family were there, which is just blooming brilliant. That. He's made his debut and now he's won a Calcutta Cup. So well done, Elliot. And actually, we just want to give group hugs to all the Saints lads at Murrayfield because we got a glimpse of how good they are.
Yes.
And then,
nobody has a clue what Mr. Borthwick is thinking, I think, in that it's the long and short of it. But, lovely to see George take that try. And poor old Finn, chuck you in at the foot of this mountain to climb because you have every chance of doing it. But I have it on good authority the lads were in fine form after the game. So well done. Well done, boys. And not long till you're back home, back where you belong.
Back where you belong. As Dr. Jones is wont to say, bring them home!
Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Talking of those who are home, I bumped into Mitch at the just before the open day on Thursday. And it's not as bad as anticipated. So that's...
excellent.
You don't need to bounce on your leg to show me, though. No, Mitch, stop it. God.
Blimey.
Yeah. So,
anyway, the England under-20s, on the other hand,
on the plus point. Whoa! Look at that! What? Yeah, and as a super team, and four Saints doing incredibly well there. Craig Wright. Yeah, I don't know if he needs to be powered by pipettes, whether that might cause a bit of hooker hysteria.
I think he's doing quite well without them. I hate to say it. He's doing, as I say, there goes your phone again. The engine on... special message, Mrs. Saunders. The engine on that lad is something to behold. And as I said to you earlier, I think he was after the player of the match. And I think he had it until that unfortunate injury in the second half. Because, I thought he was on fire on Friday.
And his try, which was... He was assisted by Archie and Henry. Yeah.
Yay. Yeah.
Brilliant.
True
Lovely
Saints
to
try.
see.
Yeah, brilliant.
I could only see the highlights because we were at dinner when it was on the tellies, but I only managed to catch the highlights.
Well, we were doing the stereo thing with Loughborough. More of that in a minute.
Yes.
So I had the under-20s on my iPad and I had Loughborough on the big TV.
I was drinking rather nice Rioja at the time.
I was on the Warner's Raspberry Gin. There you go.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Right. So well done, England in 20s. They are unbeaten. And
unbeaten and ahead of Ireland, which is the key thing, because the Irish, they won. Yeah, so they did really, really well. And it's an absolute belting competition. Some really, really good teams battling their way. So I think the next game against Ireland is going to be
crucial.
Absolutely critical. Congratulations to Italy under-20s.
Oh, yes.
Who beat France. So, yes, and the grown-ups nearly did the same thing.
Lot of discussion about that, because obviously missed that one as well, because we were halfway up a mountain on our way to see stars. So, was that Christoph Ridley who was reffing that?
It was. Yes, it was. Yes, I mean, the question is, once the ball had fallen off the tee and the French had encroached, should he have been allowed to take it again? But in the emotion of the moment, it was a difficult one. But and they should have won it. They absolutely should have won it. The French are in a very strange place. They're playing some strange rugby in a strange way.
Yeah.
Well, in actual fact, that bodes well for Investec Champions Cup because there's some weirdness going on.
Yeah.
So it's going to...
This time last year, they were like, oh, riding high, home World Cup, they're going to do so well, yada, yada, yada. To say that the wheels have... Have you been betting on the French much? It's like to say that the wheels have come up. Oh, hold on. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says no.
Not convinced.
No.
So I thought Christophe Risley actually handled the game very well. The roof at Lille was closed. What muppet! In fact, Nick Heath and I exchanged X messages.
Yes, I saw that.
What muppet sets off fireworks in a stadium with the roof closed?
Roof. Yeah.
I mean, seriously? I mean, I hate the blessed things when it's outdoors and there's a stiff breeze, but, just ridiculous. Anyway, yes. Meanwhile, Loughborough, the first thing to say about Loughborough is it was fantastic to see Emily Scarrett out there running on the grass. I mean, and her first touch was just sublime. I mean, it was just like, a Rolls Royce. Looks amazing.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant to see her back. And
Fantastic
the team do need her.
Yeah.
It'll take a little while for things to grow, but you could see that team, is developing. Bristol have had a bit of an in and out season. They're either brilliant or awful. But they had a very good, solid game. But although they won comfortably in the end, I actually saw... You could see where Nathan Smith wants to take that Loughborough team. Yeah. And I learned Catherine Shredder is Alaskan. She's from Alaska. She's an American international from Alaska. So there's a story to...
There is a story.
So the first Alaskan, I think, to play for the Saints family. I don't think I know of an Alaskan who's played for us before.
No, don't
you just love the Saints badge on their shirt? Doesn't it look good?
Yeah.
Doesn't it look good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little glow when I saw that on Skaz's shirt on Friday.
Yeah, it's really... it's coming together sort of organically now, isn't it? Which I think is really good, rather than being shoved together, which was the danger. I think everybody was very wary of that, and now it's moving together organically, which is only a good thing, I think.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to the match, which I'm sure we'll talk about a bit on Sunday. Yes. So absolutely, well battled and well played, Skaz. Lovely to have you back. I think Sherpa 2 kind of gave the story of Hartbury and Bristol. No, not Bristol. Bedford Blues, even.
Yes.
They were blooming close to coming back. Jake
place.
Garside scored a very, very nice try.
Could I just say about Jake Garside? I saw him at the open day. He walked past me. And for those who are asking, he is quite a lot taller than me. Yes.
Yeah, I would have said that.
Yes. Just for good measure.
And he wasn't tiptoeing.
He only looks that small on the pitch because the people around him are so big. Yeah.
Yes, and he wasn't tiptoeing either.
No.
No. So he
was probably wondering what this weird woman was doing.
Yes. So, almost blooming close. It must have been an absolute cracking game to watch. But, yeah, it's a tough old place to go.
Certainly is.
So I think the Blues will look forward to coming back to Goldington Road to have a friendly against the Bristol Bears, which I'm really looking forward to. It should be excellent.
Really good
So
fun.
seeing the likes of Rich Lane and Rich Lane's mum.
Oh.
Yes. Who's a lovely lady. Aren't the mums always are.
It's all about the parents.
It's all about the parents. And then yesterday we had a slightly strange match, which was on YouTube for those of you who want to go and have a look at it, because it's still there.
Oh, yes.
England A were at Welford Road playing Portugal. But the way that fixture worked. A number of the Portuguese players are playing in leagues around Europe, so couldn't actually be released from their clubs to play for Portugal. I don't know the the RFU even.
The RAF will probably do it better, to be honest.
I don't know how the RFU manage it. For God's sake. Anyway, either way. Oh, well, maybe it was the Portuguese for guessing that they've got players who play at clubs. I don't know, but it was a bit weird. Anyway, England Day, and there were some lovely touches. There were some absolutely lovely touches. And one or two lads, I think Harry Randall had a great game. And, of course, the lovely Tom Pearce was just, rampaging around the place. So, yeah, it was great to see Tom enjoying himself out on the rugby field again, because he must be blooming frustrated at the minute.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he won, and he actually even referred to it, he won man of the match, despite Caden Murley getting a hat-trick. Anyway, but he was outstanding, and fair dues. And my favourite phrase.
His try rounded off a weekend that added to the rest of the Six Nations, that a Saints player has scored for England in every under-20s and senior men's and England A game.
Yeah.
So, because we forgot to mention Sergeant Wilson scoring that try.
Oh, Sergeant Wilson. Yeah. You even texted me to say Sergeant Wilson. Yes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Sergeant Wilson.
That's
excellent.
Verbs to those of you who have not listened all the way through, and why not?
And why not? Yes. He's so polite. And
so
I
polite.
noticed that he was deep in discussion with Finn when they came off the field at the end. So, they know. Yeah. They know. Wheelchair rugby, my goodness me. They were at the Midland Development League. They were in Coventry. And played 3 games against Norfolk Knights, Tigers, Swifts. There's an old name, but that's basically the Wanderers for Tigers.
Oh, I see.
And Coventry Stampede. And they won them all.
Brilliant.
That's brilliant. And particularly brilliant as we had a very, very special young man playing for us. I'm going to try and get his name right, because it's Tristan Natras, who at 14 must be the youngest player ever to play for Northampton Saints. Until recently, Tristan was playing 15-man rugby. He was in the DPP. And you can read his story, but they believe he had a spinal stroke.
Oh, my goodness me.
Yeah. And he's clearly a lad who loves his sport, because a few weeks later, he decided he wanted to play wheelchair rugby.
Wow.
And he made his debut for Northampton Saints. So congratulations, Tristan. You've made us proud. And it could be in a few years' time, he's back playing first 15 rugby again. But we know he's pretty blooming good at wheelchair rugby. So, fair dues. Keep going, young man.
More power to your elbow, young man.
More power to those elbows and wheels, because I'm sure Mr. Guttridge will be coaching you along with Jamie and the guys. So well done. And Captain Jerry McCrory and co-captain Reece Walden, well done, lads, because it's a very young team and it's still learning, and to play so well against some pretty competitive teams. That is, I'm right proud of them. I'm right proud of them. Now, talking of being right proud, Toaster under 9s.
I'm not sure what they've been doing, to be honest, because
you've lost concentration.
I've lost concentration because I've come on holiday, and Harry wasn't speaking to me because I'd come on holiday. So,
bit of controversy.
Yeah. They only had training the week before last, so probably because it's been half term, I would expect it's the same. But still loving it, still absolutely loving
Brilliant.
it.
Well,
but I was going to say, in other news, they came along to the open day and had an absolute ball. Apart from, we did had a very wobbly lower lip when couldn't get to see Courtney because the queue was too long, so they stalked him through the car park and and got his
Poor
signature.
man.
So yeah, poor man, could no escape, and got his signature. Thank goodness, because I think Harry actually is some sort of, I don't know, seer. Because I said, well, perhaps you can get it next year. He won't be here next year. Well, you obviously know more than me, but yeah. So, but they did. They got that, and they had a real ball and loved it again. So excellent.
So
Despite the rain.
congratulations to everybody at the Saints, because
God,
you
it
had
was
that
wet.
plan B. I mean, given that their first plan was something like 2,000 supporters, and they doubled it, to deal with all that weather. And from what I heard, everybody had. Of course, there were queues. When you got 4,000 people, they're going to be the odd queue.
Bound to be, yeah.
Yeah. But well done, everybody. There was much planning. When I was at training last week, there was much discussion over what Kev the kit man was, and he was trying to work out his throughput, how many people he had to tell about what was going on. But he looked like, I mean, from the photographs, he looked like holding court quite happily. Hollywood was, on his great best. So
yes. Yeah, it was good. It was. I mean, the players were amazing, really, because they were coming out of training, sort of gone 12:30, just 1:45, turn around and be in place and talking to people from 1 till 4 it's tiring.
Yeah,
They did really well.
Yeah,
because
they would have had
those young men.
Yeah, they would have had a full training session, and they're not mucking about, because they're building up to coming back in the Premiership. So congratulations to everybody. There was a lot of thought put into that. I love the maps that they do.
Oh, they were really good.
They're really, really good. So well done to everybody.
And it was what was really good as well. We had the supporters club volunteers. The club
I saw your high vis. Very good.
Yeah, we were in our high vis, and that worked really well. So we're hoping that's the start of quite a good partnership of getting volunteers from the supporters club membership to work with the club. So that's another reason for joining the supporters club. First chance for volunteering opportunities, because it will include things like concerts in the summer and stuff. So
excellent.
Get
good
to
stuff.
see the concerts and not pay.
Brilliant.
Right.
Brilliant. So we have to talk about the departure of
we do.
the big bloke.
We do. Yeah.
Big
Yeah,
Courts
finally we were put out of our misery. And I thought it was handled with real good grace on all sides. Actually, I thought Courtney spoke very well about the club did all they could, but basically it's what Reeve have offered is going to set him up for life. So why wouldn't you? Yeah. Why wouldn't you go? Sorry,
should get a new beat now.
Incoming, sorry. So popular. So and I liked the letter he wrote to the Breve supporters as well. It was in
his best O-level French.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I'm dating myself. GCSE French. Yes.
Yeah, I would have done GCSE French. But no, I just think fair play to him, and let's enjoy him for the rest of the season, and hope he achieves what he wants to achieve with us. So good. And always welcome back, of course.
Absolutely. And the end of an era.
End of the era for you.
Yes, so Courtney was in that 2007-8 team, my first season as Saints Tog. He made his debut in October 2007 against Esher Rugby. They probably they've wondered why they got so many tweets this week, because the big man made his debut at 18 against you. And it's going to be a bit weird him not being about the place. I did actually put on the Friends WhatsApp, and I can't lay claim to this, Lizzie Tyler. Liz Tyler. Lizzie Goodshaw. Get it right.
Yeah.
Liz Tyler told me this. Who is the next name on the list of players, in the player numbers list, after Courtney?
Oh.
It's a great question. It's one of those pub questions that,
2007.
And you know him. And you see him regularly.
Dowson. No.
No, you're too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon. Shall I put you out your misery?
Yeah, go on.
Paul Shields.
Oh, good grief.
which shows how long ago it is.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, I'd seen Courtney as water boy for East Midlands under 16s, so and then watched him progress, as we were saying earlier. You know, to be just coming in as all arms and legs like a colt. Didn't know where the ends of his arms and legs were almost, did he? And it was and to become the refined and elegant player that he is now is just your turn. These road gears,
they've gone. Yes. So, So, Courtney, understand fully why you're heading off, my friend.
Yeah.
And good luck to you. But we've got you for the next few weeks, so
yes,
it's going to be fun.
And I think that all of the ones who are heading to France that we know of so far are committed to. And will always be committed to Saints, I think, even though they, may go for change of scenery or whatever, and it's not Saints that have driven them away. I think, without exception, that it's not Saints.
People leave Saints well these days, which is great,
really good,
which is really good, because that's what you want. Media watch. Well, the less said, the better. Seriously, guys. I mean, it's getting boring now. I just you just want something different. The quality of punditry is decidedly ropey.
Yeah,
it's predictable. It's really predictable, and maybe we need some new voice. Although I did like it. Apparently on S4C, Sarah Elgin asked her husband if he remembered his black socks for the dinner that night. Now that's the sort of quality of punditry that you want.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is. It's becoming formulaic, actually.
Absolutely. It's they're reaching out, trying to guess what. I mean, partly because I don't think they know what the hell's going on with England. But it's getting tedious. It really is getting tedious now. But anyway, hopefully we'll have club rugby back soon and we can, seriously get into them. We talked about the Open Day.
We did.
Well done. Yeah. Walking rugby happened that night, didn't it?
It did. It was all very full on for some of us, I tell you. And then my calf injury that I thought was better, it wasn't. So
sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
Ow. So I'm a bit like Big T. He had that calf injury. That is where it starts and ends, really. Me being like Big T, we both had calf injuries. So I'm thinking now, having rested it for several weeks and that didn't do it, I may have to go and be physioed, I suspect now.
Yes, my Achilles is due for its next going over.
So, but we had fun. Other than that, it was good for a laugh. And
it all looked like everyone was having a good time.
It is so much fun,
and we need to talk to the kids. I think we've said that potentially we want to talk to the community guys. They're a great bunch.
But it is anybody who's at loose end at 6:00 on a Thursday, just for an hour, come along, and it is tremendous fun. We have a right laugh. We do take it seriously as well. I mean, it's not taken lightly. Some of us take it more seriously than others, but
for some reason, my husband yesterday wore his Strava device while he was doing walking rugby in Histon.
Yeah,
and so I got an emergency message that he'd had a collision. Like, what? I'm okay. I was just wearing it during walking rugby.
Yes, I'm not on a bike.
What's going on?
Brilliant.
Yes. He didn't injure anybody this week. That's the good news.
Oh, that's good.
And so, again, we've got a busy weekend ahead, haven't we? I mean, it's a fallow week for the under-20s and the England, the Six Nations stuff. And it's obviously the Premiership is still, therefore, not happening. But Bedford should have been playing, as I said earlier, Jersey Red, so I'm off to Goldington Road.
Lovely.
To
Friday night.
See Friday Night Lights. And then I get to go... will you be joining us on... Oh, no, you're coming home from
Friday night. No, won't make it Friday night.
And then on Sunday, we've got Love for Lightning at the Gardens.
At the Gardens. Again, more bears. more Bristol Bears, and actually, no.
Is it Bristol Bears? Have I? No, I've gone
that's
rogue.
wrong. You've
So
gone back.
that's wrong.
No.
I've gone
Yeah.
back. It's Sale Sharks, I think.
Sale Sharks.
It's
I was going to say,
Sharks.
that's too many bears, and I'm still really taking tut about Bristol being bears anyway, when we should be the best, because we're the ones that had bears. Yeah.
Right. Yes, bears. You need to talk about bears.
We've talked about bears. We've done bears.
We've done bears.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get back into the swing of things. I actually announced, and I'm surprised that Sherpa 2 didn't have me for that one. I actually announced that the Army game was on the 8th of March. It's total nonsense. Army versus Bedford, or Bedford versus the Army, because it is at Goldington Road. I think is on the 28th of March. I was only 20 days out.
Oh, yes. Not far out.
It's at the end of the month. It's the night before the Saracens game.
It's the 28th. It's Thursday then? Yeah.
It's a Thursday, yeah. And it's the build-up, obviously, for the Army and Navy game for the Army. And then we play Saracens on the Friday, on the Good Friday game.
Yeah.
So I got that hopelessly wrong. Something's ever change.
Yeah,
Something's ever change. There you go.
Just proving you're human, really. You can't be right all the time.
I rarely am right. But it is a bit strange not having club rugby, isn't it?
It is weird. I was talking to somebody and saying, it's almost like the summer, but without the weather, and you're just thinking, I just want to be back now. This isn't right. It's too long. And
yes. But it is the right thing to do, because
Absolutely.
It was bonkers. Now, I don't think I wouldn't be surprised if there are more games as part of the Premiership Rugby Cup are played in the gap next year. Yeah. Because we had that long run-in, if you remember, because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be interesting to see how they spread the games between the Autumn Internationals gap and the Six Nations gap. So I don't think it will quite work. We'll go back to how it used to be, where you had the final literally the day after the last match of the Six Nations. I bet you that's the sort of thing that we'll get back to. So I think this season is a bit of an aberration because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
And then I don't think it'll feel quite so strange. But we've got a number of lads who are coming back well on form, particularly out of the under-20s, and a number of lads who will have trained but won't have played. So there'll be a few people kicking their heels because Alex Coles wasn't involved in the squad on Saturday. I think Fremo is the only one who's who might have to have his minutes managed, but everybody else I think will just be
pretty
raring to go. And with the news that the bouncing Alex Mitchell might be back,
Alex Mitchell.
Well, it's going to be a very short, sharp sprint to the end, isn't it? I mean, we've got a lot of big matches really, really quickly. So, it's going to be great. But first, Goldington Road.
Goldington Road on Friday. Yeah.
Yes, and safe journey home, Mrs. Saunders.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming across the airwaves to sunny Tenerife.
Indeed. And when does the cake production line get going? Because you've got new orders. What with carrot cake for Radders and chocolate cake for Douse and more pikelets. I mean, he's bound to want more pikelets. Yeah.
Well, you did get pikelets the open day, so.
Oh, you did! Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's good. So he's definitely powered by pikelets.
Pikelets. Well, I thought it just needed tidying over till. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to deliver all these orders for cakes. Anyway.
Well, our title could depend on it. We rely on you now.
That's very true, actually. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact we promised to pay people in cakes is the worry.
Yes, you see, if you win.
Well, I suppose I might have to get going when I get back, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, that was episode 16 of the Ladies Wot Pod. Thank you again to Ryan Robinson.
Yes, and thank
Bedford
you.
Blues.
Thank you, everyone who's sat and listened to this talk.
Again.
And if you've taken us to the gym, marvellous.
Yeah, and no wonder your injury's suffering, because you go to the gym so often.
It's the gym. Going too hard on the cross trainer. That's affected my legs, obviously.
Do subscribe to us.
Yeah.
Listen to us. Do share the word. We're really grateful for everyone who listens. You're absolute superstars for sticking with us. And that was the Lady Pod.
episode 16.